there's an injustice, whether it's against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down. Don't sit down on them, because they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm not going to lie, today was rough. Today's show is probably going to get a little tough as well. I know a lot of people are just feeling really bad after this testimony, and I'm not feeling bad for Miss Heard. I'm feeling bad for all the survivors out there that just watched this performance, because I'm not buying it, and I've gotten so many messages from so many of you who have been through similar experiences, and you're not buying it either. And it frustrates me. It makes me angry. There's just no evidence but this performance. And I see too many tells. I see too much acting. I see too many attempts to cry without a single tear. And I'm just not buying it. It's not genuine to me. And it's hurting me because I feel like this woman has pushed herself so far over the edge that she can't turn back. And so what's she going to do? She's going to torch this guy and just say the worst things imaginable because she has to at this point. Because remember, the audio itself that she was caught on said, I have no more credibility. It's gone. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And Johnny said, well, why'd you say it? Why'd you say it? I didn't know. I didn't know why. They told me to say it. I didn't even call the cops. This is the woman who we hear on this audio tape is now suddenly telling us these stories in graphic detail. And I got to be honest, guys, I know I'm supposed to do a recap, but I don't want to play her anymore. I don't want to give her any more airtime. And if you didn't watch it, I don't really want you to watch it. If you want to watch it, you should watch it in its entirety so you can really just feel how much of a psychopath this woman is. This is Gone Girl in real life. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. She's not genuine. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. So what do we do? I'm sorry. I needed a rant at the top of the show because this was rough, guys. I couldn't even watch all of it, if I'm being honest with you. I know I'm supposed to, but it was intense. And I know a lot of you had to step away as well. But we're going to take deep breaths. We're going to try and recap what this is. And I'm so grateful because I got two great guests with me. It's Kim is here and Alexandra's here. Thank you both for being here through this therapy we're going to have to do after listening to this. I will admit it does make me feel good to see that Amber Heard as a psychopath is currently trending on Twitter. So that does make me feel a little bit better to know that there's other people who are feeling what I'm feeling. But let's start with a laugh. Let's start with a laugh, guys, right? Let's try and have some positivity. I implore you all, the beginning of this trial, Amber shared this exposed Johnny with this shocking photo, guys. I want to share this shocking photo because, oh my God, here he is. Excuse me. Look at this. Can you friggin' believe this? Passed out, binged out on God knows what. Look at this siesta, this drug-filled siesta that Johnny Depp is just... And you know what? I got really nervous because then suddenly my siesta got exposed as well. Look at me. Just, I'm canceled again. I'm never going to be believed again. Look how awful I am. Kim, can you believe they exposed me? This is now out in the world. I don't know what to do with my life now. My God,
I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed in you, Andy.
I'm so sorry, upsetting. Guys. The truth is there.
Upsetting.
I'm a monster. I must be a monster because I passed out on my bed last night. And Johnny took a photo, and now it's over. Can you guys friggin' believe this was put into evidence? Like, you gotta understand, the woman who talked today and shared this whole story put this in evidence as if this was some sort of like, bum, bum, bum. Like, he's taking a friggin' nap on vacation. Like, what the frick is this photo? And so, to all you guys out there who jumped in, there were here was a lot of drugged out pets. Look at these zoned out pets who are they're just out of it. Look at this cat. Oh my God, what is this cat on, Kim? I don't even know. Excuse me. Oh my God, both of these people. Look, this is just, you guys are disgusting. Oh, is that Amber Heard herself? Oh my God, hideous. God, thank you guys. Keep the photos. This was one of my favorites. Look at this guy. He must have had such a bender. I can't even believe it. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Look at this. Look at this dog. This dog is licking cocaine all night long. Oh, it's just, oh my God, look at this man. You should be ashamed of yourself, sir. That cat is in danger. We should call the SPC. Anyway, you guys get the gist. I think we should all keep sharing our, oh, this guy's really, look, he must have had a whole binge. Thank you for following into my trend. Hashtag passed out. Johnny Depp is justice for Johnny Depp. Keep them coming as I've been going through all these people passed out on their couches. There's two. Oh my God, you're a terrible mother. We got to try and find some humor in today because it was dark. It was dark. So, all right, I wanted to try and have some levity at the top of the show, guys, because it's hard. But here's what I really want to do today. I want to get your thoughts, Kim, Alexandra. I want to get everybody's thoughts. But I also want to open up the phone line. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened today. But I really want to hear from the survivors out there. Because I've been getting a lot of message, and some of you didn't want to be on camera. I understand. You can call in audio, anonymously, whatever you want to do. You can be on camera, whatever. I'm going to open up the phone lines because I really want some real survivors who've been through this to call in, and I want you to talk to Amber. Let's do it. I have a platform. We got a lot of people watching. She may be watching this too. So, dear Amber, this show's for you because you disrespected a lot in the community. And you made it so it's harder to believe women because you were caught in numerous lies. And I want to point out the first egregious thing I noticed of the night. You ready for this, guys? Here was a moment during the trial itself where she posed for a photo op. Here's the woman, fake crying and sharing these stories. Seemingly, I don't know what's on those tissues.
And after you both returned to LA.
What? God, sorry, guys. Hold on. I got to blow my nose for a second. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Oh, better. Did you guys see that shit? What is this pause? She looks up. She pauses. Flash.
And after you both returned to LA.
She's literally posing for like a Kleenex photo mid-court trial. I know you can't diagnose her, Alexandra, but who does this?
And after you both returned to...
What do you think when you see this kind of shit? Does this bother you?
Yes, a lot.
Am I crazy? Does that seem like she's posing?
That, to me, that's very cold calculated. I haven't seen that part, so I'm shocked.
She's literally posing for photos. Oh. And then there was another moment people caught. Thank you.
With this performance, Amber destroys everything that so many fought for. Today, after 1.5 years, I finally won my DV court case and can finally move back to my home country with my children. I got my freedom back today. Justice for Johnny.
Oh, well, Lena, my goodness, thank you so much. And it's thank you, but also I'm sorry because to all the victims out there, she's taken it back so far. But wow, I'm glad you won your court case. Congratulations. That takes so much strength. So bravo. Thank you so much for your support, and I'm happy. Congrats. Good for you for sticking up and doing it and making it that far. We got your back, and bravo to you, Lena. Thank you so much for sharing. The other one I wanted to show was, do I still have it here? There was another moment. Oh, here's another one moment. It almost feels like she's sniffing something. I hate to be like conspiracy theorist, Alexander, but look at this. She's getting something. She looks, and then she does a. She's fascinating, given all that she's telling to it, all the drug binges that Johnny's on, and mid-trial she seems like she snorted something. Look at that again. I mean, allegedly, speculation. You saw the clip. You make your own judgment. I don't want to get. But look at Alexandra's eyes. It doesn't look good.
That's strong. I was just hearing to her. I wasn't looking at her. So
yeah. And then I also want to point out the fact that she talks about this. We're going to play the clip where she goes to Benihana and then Johnny, of course, all this stuff that Johnny's done with Lily Rose, who I don't know why she had to bring up Johnny's kids so much. Oh, I know why, because she's a psychopath. Here are the photos from that day. Oh, look at all the bruises. Guys, there's so many photos and evidence after the events that she's chronicling, and I cannot wait for the plaintiffs to they're going to bring it so hard. They better, with so much of okay, well, can you explain this? Can you explain this? Where is it now? How did you cover it up here? There's so much they're going to be able to do against her. That's really all it needs to do, because whatever witness or dumb people, it almost doesn't matter. The whole rest of this trial could just be them on cross with Amber Heard for the next week. And that's what I think they need to do. But there's so much to expose her. One of the images she showed, people educated me that one of the images she showed where she had that arm mark, she was holding an iPhone that was 4 years old. Amber Heard would never have an iPhone 4 years old. Am I right, Alexandra? She does not seem like the type who's going to have an old phone.
No, definitely. She must have the best, the new, and, despite all these pictures that she's trying to present of herself, it's very clear that she likes expensive things and she likes new things and she likes, all the fancy things. Plus also one thing, is it me? Am I crazy? But in that picture,
which one?
The arm here.
Yeah.
The picture that Amy was talking about yesterday. Is it me? Or she has dark hair there?
Yeah, it did look like she had dark hair there.
Right? And she was blonde when she met Johnny.
Correct.
She had dark hair before.
Yeah, again, all the dates are all off because they never got actually anybody to confirm any of this metadata. So it's just her word and a few shots of soda cans on the ground after she's detailed this whole story of the carpets and the floors, and I was sliding off the thing, and I don't remember much, but I remember all these little details. It's such a walking contradiction as she's telling her story, and we'll try to get to the thrum of it. And I have two people on the phone we're going to get to, so thank you to my callers. If you're waiting, I'll get you in a second. I want to start with one clip. Kim's coming back. We lost her, I guess, her internet. I want to start because, guys, there is one hero. There's one, and there's a hero to save us. You know who that hero's name is, guys?
It was a threat that if I wanted to be...
Objection, speculation.
Oh, Camille Vasquez is our hero, and I'd like to share a montage of Camille getting under Amber's skin through the entire opening.
I think she can say what she understood it to mean.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay.
One day he didn't come home, and I was worried sick. I found out that he was in.
I am so pissed after today and speechless. I know a few people that have been victims of DV and SA, and for her to pull this shit, fuck you, Amber Turd, we all hate you. For all the victims out there, I'm so sorry from the bottom of my heart that you had to her.
Thank you, Joey. Appreciate it. But here we go. Let's hear Vasquez continue to get under our Amber skin.
Objection, hearsay.
Move forward. Because
when he came home, they had to carry him home.
Objection, hearsay.
Did you see that?
I watched it.
Okay.
Oh, look at her. Look, did you see that? You just see that? She does it so slyly. She does it much better, unlike the others. Like, objection here. She gets to the point. She's like a little stealth ninja, and she got in so many good little hearsays that she won majority of them. And look at Amber snap back.
Hearsay.
Move forward.
When he came home, they had to carry him home.
Objection, hearsay.
Did you see that?
I watched it.
Okay.
Ooh!
I watched. Actually, I was shocked that he could do it. One of the security guards carried Johnny like a baby into the house, and I looked at that.
What, if any, communications did you have with Kate James about your issues with Mr. Depp?
Objection, hearsay.
Because James has testified.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right. We can take that down, Michelle. Why did you tape record him?
Because I knew that Johnny wouldn't remember what he had done. I knew he would not remember. And if
Calls for speculation.
She can say why she did it and what she thought.
She's saying what she knew Johnny would do something. No, you don't, Amber. That's speculation. Elaine, and good on Camille getting in there and being like, nope.
that last part called for speculation. I'll sustain the
Don't
objection.
say I knew. Why did you tape record?
In my experience, when Johnny was that inebriated, he would not remember what he had done.
Calls for speculation.
How can that call for speculation?
I'll sustain the
Because she's predicting what Johnny's going to do. That's the definition of speculation, Elaine. You idiot. So I loved Camille getting in this. I think we have, do I have them all? Hold on. There's so many.
I felt.
And throughout the whole, I don't know if you felt that vibe, Alexandra, if you're watching, you guys.
Powerless.
This is going to be a battle.
I did.
And I'm so glad it's Vasquez
Made a
versus
difference.
Hurd.
You know,
Because
on the plane, I was so
correct me if I'm wrong.
careful.
So much smarter to put a woman against her. Because I feel like she's more threatened by women, especially good-looking, smart women like her, who's been all over Johnny this trial. Even Johnny, like, oh, there's clearly something between that. Like, I think that was all on purpose to get on her unnerved, to have that beautiful woman there supporting strong next to Johnny, this whole rubbing his back the whole show. It's all part of it to get her unhinged, guys. And She's already starting. She's already starting it through the whole day. As you may not have noticed it, but the whole day, Camille's just been like,
Objection. Non-responsive.
Please just tell us what you did, and you can tell how you feel, but don't go backwards, okay? What, if any, communications did you have with Stephen Duders?
Objection. Hearsay.
Yeah, no, let me ask it this way. What, if any, communications did you have with Mr. Duders communicating on behalf of Mr. Depp?
Objection. Hearsay.
I would say agency on that one. You have to
Look at Amber rolling her eyes here without.
look at her,
Following
bitch. She's a
the
queen.
Boston
I'm the biggest
Planet.
Camille stan
Objection.
in the
Hearsay.
world.
May we approach?
All right. Yes, ma'am.
She is
Did you
so threatened.
communicate at all with Mr. Depp in the days following the Boston plane incident?
Yes, I did.
Please tell the jury about those communications.
I heard from him directly. I also heard from him through his assistants who were texting for him.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Sustained objection.
You're not allowed to testify about the text messages with his assistant, but can you tell the jury about your communications with Mr. Depp?
He was texting through them.
Objection, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection. I'll strike that from the record, and you'll just regard that
Boom,
testimony.
boom, boom.
Please answer the
You
question.
got Vasquez.
Just confine it to the communications you had with Mr. Depp, please.
I went to New York and I was trying to get my strength to leave him. I actually thought that it kind of would be the turning point. I thought I had effectively...
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
Email to Mr. Depp to express your emotions and how you felt about all this?
Objection. Hearsay.
Well, let's go, I'll lay the foundation, Your Honor. Let's go to defendants 239.
Objection. Hearsay, Your Honor.
I would say both present
It sounds
sense
so much
impression
nicer
and
on this
definite
side.
state of mind, Your Honor.
Objection, hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
All right.
Sounds so much better than
Objection, hearsay.
But you asked the question.
she asked the question.
Communicate to Mr. Depp what you first drafted up in an email without saying anything about what's in the email.
That calls for hearsay, Your Honor.
And the plan was he would obviously abstain from alcohol completely and all other drugs. And then when he finished filming, the plan was to do
Objection,
the
Your
full
Honor.
detox.
Hearsay and lack of foundation.
I know this is long, but I'm standing her, and we all must hear her and
context
support
there.
her
I don't
like
think she was
crazy.
saying
We could lay a foundation how she knew, but it's fine.
How did you know that?
I was involved in the conversations
Please
with the
continue.
doctors and with his sister.
Objection,
And
Your Honor.
nurse.
That's still hearsay.
I'll sustain the objection.
That part is.
Put Johnny
Now,
on a
come-
bunch
I
of
want
new
you to see it
medications,
because
which they shared with me.
she's getting
told me
unhinged.
about.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Look at every time she does it. Every time she does it, and that's on purpose, I think, too.
What other people.
She's overdoing it on purpose
Okay, but you can
to get
testify
under
what
her
you
skin,
know.
to get her
Okay.
threatened, to get
So,
because that's
what
they want the
happened
few good men moment.
But
You
what I-
can't handle the truth.
Found out
Because if anybody's gonna have a Jack Nicholson in this court, it's Amber Heard screaming at that woman.
in that time is that he was taking about double the amount.
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All the time I saved his life, and he wouldn't be doing this without me. And I was telling him these things, and I was at one point in our conversations, I told him about how
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
Please try to continue without what you said, please.
it was hell.
He's losing
You know, we're on an island. I'm trying to take care of him, and he was hallucinating. And
Objection, Your Honor. Non-responsive.
The non-responsive is so great because she's trying to tell a story. She's not answering the questions because her and Elaine are in this. That's why I want to share all this to you before we even get there, because I know a lot of us are sad and frustrated, but God, I hope the jury sees through it. This was a performance. This was scripted. They've rehearsed this for weeks, in my opinion. And Camille, Queen, Stan, everybody, Vasquez, woo! I'm standing her for life. My God, she's stunning, and she's on top of this shit. I'm so glad she's on Johnny's side, and she's the one who's going to go toe to toe with Amber. I can only assume, since she's doing all these, hearsays. And I hope that can give us some excitement over this break to get ready and support her. So, Alexandra, am I crazy, or do you get the vibe too that she was totally doing that on purpose and unnerving Amber?
Definitely. Plus, also, she needs to cut hair and slowly, without, being aggressive. She's very, very gentle, very smooth with her voice, very nice, putting her in this position that she will lose it. She will snap. Definitely she will snap. Plus she's losing the ground because also constant interrupting, I think. You know, when you memorize a story and you are interrupted, it's very difficult for you to go back to the story. So you have to kind of like go back few sentences and then you repeat it. And the more you repeat and to kind of like, you know, how to say that, to get speed and go into the story, that just proves how, you know, memorized everything is. So yeah, that's on purpose.
Sorry. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not going crazy. That felt like. Now I have so many clips and things, but I guess let me see here. Do I have? We did that one.
I don't know how many times I moved seats. I wish I did.
This is the airplane. This is the Australia incident where she sort of breaks it down. Do you guys want to see these clips, or would you rather take some calls and react more? I don't really want to give her more airtime. I don't buy any of it. Look, I guess to recap things, she detailed a few of the incidents where Johnny allegedly did these things that now have just gotten so much more graphically intense. Which I don't, Alexander. Like this came out of nowhere. And then she detailed the bottle situation, which I just didn't find credible, or it didn't sound realistic at all. She got so specific on details and the storytelling of it all that how have we never heard this before? It just doesn't line up. And how would you have not seen a doctor afterwards? She's going too extreme, and it just really feels like an ex-girlfriend going scorched earth on the person who betrayed her, and now she's already caught in her own lies. That she's committed to the lie. Do you know what I mean? What is that, Alexandra? What is that part, do you think, that's sort of, she knows she's, because we have her on tape admitting she's lost all credibility, right? And yes. At this point, she's all in. So how is it? So she, in order to go all in, right? She's like, well, I'm just going to say he put a wine bottle in me. And yeah, I'm going to own it, and I'm going to sell it even better than Johnny Depp. Is that the vibe you get?
You know, there was a point, okay, guys, let me finish the sentence before you start, destroying me in the chat. There was a point when I started to be concerned about her. As in, like, really, are you that lost in your delusion that you believe everything you are saying? Because, there's a very tiny line with pathological liars. When they lie, it's a lie on top of a lie, on top of a lie, that they are so lost in the lies, they start to believe those lies. They create their own fantasy world. And I started to think, like, okay, is this your fantasy world? Like, do you really fantasize with all these awful things? That's, how... Yeah, well, that's my feedback.
She's living in a fantasy world.
Yeah, a terrible one.
I want to bring in, I guess, so she told these stories. There was a bunch of stories, and they were very long stories. Very long, detailed, distracted, disjointed, constantly, like, losing track. Alexandra's like, I don't know, like, why was she so unfocused? It felt like she was stretching, and I think there was a defense tactic to stretch it, because yes, they wanted her to finish strong and end with a big graphic story, so that way the jury could sit on this story for the next, because there's a break next week for the whole 10 days. They weren't going to let her go on cross, because if they went on cross, they couldn't talk to her next week. And then, the cross would leave. This was a PR stunt. This was a PR stunt. Her PR team is now in there. They knew the stories they were going to tell. I'm sure they've already been telling the media all over, so you guys are going to need to be prepared. The media over the next week is going to plaster Johnny's Depp with wine bottles and all this nasty stuff. So it's gotten really graphic and really ugly, because she's resorted to what she has to resort to, which is lies now. I don't believe it. So I'm going to play some clips, but I want to hear from real victims. I want to hear from people who've really been through trauma, DV, SA, and I have two on the line who've here, and I want to keep them waiting, then we'll come back, because I just want to hear from real people, and I want to give you guys a chance to react, because you guys are angry. I know you're angry, and it makes me angry, because I believe you guys more than I believe her, and I'd like to hear some. So I got two callers who are coming in. I don't know how if they want me to use their names, so hold on, let me go to my close-up right here. I see your chats. I'm going to try my best. Let me say this. I'm going to try my best to get to them all. I may miss a few. A lot are coming in, so bear with me, please. And thank you for all the support. I try my best to read as many at the end, but thank you. I'm going to let you guys have the call in a clip. And I see a lot of you don't want me to do the clips either. But all right, we have a call. Hello, callers. Big. What shall I call you, Big?
You can call me right now. I'm sorry.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't use the wrong words if you guys are wanting to be anonymous. And then the other caller, I can use you by your first name. That's okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure anybody who calls in, I will ask first before I show you, just out of respect and making sure. I'm going to remove your last name. There we go. All right, so we have Haven here and we have Raina. Thank you guys for calling in to the show and for very brave and awesome. You've been helping us in our chat rooms here in the case. And Raina, I want to start with you because you were actually one who just spoke up. You were watching this. You said something. You shared a story. You do not need to share the full story. Please, in fact, don't get too graphic in your details. Yeah. But you said something, and it really inspired me to want to do it in this show because I was like, I know there must be other women out there who were feeling like you were feeling, and you were just angry, you were frustrated, and you didn't believe her. Can you share a little bit about what whatever you're comfortable sharing? What was your reaction when you watched Amber Heard, Raina?
So I apologize ahead of time. I'm a little anxious, but I mean, to put it simply, going through something so traumatic. Firstly, I want to say the reason I didn't believe her. To avoid any graphic details, I did kind of experience something along those lines. And I kind of remember it as the worst moments of my life. Like, I was just talking to my younger brother and I was explaining to him, the pain that you feel like on a constant basis. And there's no way this woman did not remember that feeling because I know it will never leave me. And it also is just very telling on her as well, because I think that she's portraying what she thinks women who are victims are supposed to be, and which I feel she believes that we are unhinged and emotional, uncontrolled. And I think that's quite the opposite of what a true survivor would be. I know that I try to hold my head high in every situation, and my biggest thing in that instance is that I don't want to give that person the power to know that they will imprint themselves on me for the rest of my life. I don't want them to win that way. That's not how, I feel a survivor should look at things. You should be a pillar of strength to yourself and to anybody else that, goes through something like that. And it was just very disturbing. It was very disappointing for her to make light of the pain of people who have gone through traumas like that, and then to completely dismiss it like it's something that you could forget. It's just very disgusting. Very, I had to stop watching. I did. I'm guilty of that one.
Well, I thank you for opening up and sharing, and I take comments like that seriously because we are supposed to believe everybody, right? Especially women, and I want to, right? But I've had my own experiences where it's made me second guess, certain stories, and I think there's a lot she's saying that's making me, red flags, right? And she just wants, she's so sure about it, and like, believe me, and there were like facial moments. She seems very angry about it. Did you feel like her emotions throughout were genuine?
I did not. I feel like she was putting on like almost a hysterical kind of act on, which is why I do believe that is what she believes victims and survivors to be, emotional, hysterical, unhinged, and emotional. And I personally, I think I've said it to you before, like I think Drake Bell is a great example of, I guess this kind of situation. And I do see Amber Heard as like a Drake Bell in this situation, constantly mocking almost like this moral superiority. And, it's kind of disgusting, when you look at people that are victims and, you see Johnny just silent and disconnected and, obviously trying to cope and, finding humor in this kind of accusation from her. And it's very telling. It's all very telling on everybody's character. I don't know. Hold on.
I appreciate that insight. Let's get Haven. And Haven, are you there?
I am.
Hey, Haven, thank you for calling in. What was your reaction when you saw this?
I mean, where is this story coming from, and how is she forgetting detail? Because from my personal experience, I remember everything. Smells, lighting, how much my heart was beating, like the way that my fingers were tingling. I'm a little bit confused as to how she forgot, like she's parsing out the situation because it's so graphic, as you had mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It was very graphic, and it felt like she was doing that on purpose to try to gain more sympathy in a way. Like the other thing I had trouble with, like, would you want to get so graphic and explain it so easily? And then if you did, wouldn't you have more emotion than she was trying? Then she couldn't show the proper emotion. I feel like one would need to have to share such intimate trauma. Am I crazy in having that red flag go off?
No, I don't know how you go through something like that. Try to explain it to, hundreds of people and thousands of people watching and not completely break down. There were so many times where she was crying and she said she was sorry and she was apologizing, which is pretty unnatural for you to do when you're explaining a trauma of your own. You don't apologize. You're trying to work through it. You're trying to say what you're saying, no matter how disgusting you appear to be to yourself or to anyone else. This is your story, so you should explain it as it was, not as you want it to be portrayed.
Preach.
Yeah, it was just troubling to watch, and I'm glad to hear you guys tell me I'm not crazy. Were there any other tells or anything that you saw that really sort of triggered you to think she's not telling the truth?
I had mentioned this in our chat, but the way that she's like shaking her head back and forth the entire time, she's recalling things. Typically, just towards scientific study, it means that you don't believe what you're saying, or you're trying to recall something that isn't necessarily true, which goes along with her whole narrative of, making up little tidbits, being very disconnected, not being honest, and being deceptive towards everyone who's watching.
Yeah, exactly. She's.
I don't know how many times I moved seats. I wish I did. I don't. I remember moving.
What about the eye contact to the jury?
Yeah, that was so weird. I don't know why you would want to look at them. I wouldn't want to look at anyone when I'm talking about my trauma. I would typically look down and into my lap or into my hands and not make that eye contact.
Raina, do you agree with that? Do you think this was like a tell of her sort of, or is this a sign of confidence that she's willing? What is your take?
I believe that telling the story is important, absolutely, but I mean, even just now, I feel almost uncomfortable with like the eye contact and the focus, and it's like it's very anxiety inducing, and it's almost kind of like suffocating. So I don't see why there would be so much of a showcase behind it past what it already is. It's already so much trauma. There's no need to exaggerate it.
Yeah, it's super, super weird. We have another guest I'm going to add to this call, actually. It's Dr. Jamie, who is let's see if he can help explain what he does. I think he might have some insight, actually, to share in this, because he's dealt with a lot of these celebrity testimonies, as well as more. Let's see here, rename. Dr. Jamie, are you there?
I am, Andy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Can you get? We've been interacting through your people, and I'm glad you got to call in. Can you explain to the folks a little bit of your background, so before I ask you some questions, they understand your insight and information on this?
Sure, I will. I'm actually in El Paso working with companies now on toxic work sites. So as a psychologist, licensed clinical social worker, and a trauma therapist, I've taken a deep interest and love in working with cluster B personality disorders over the years. These are people without empathy, without accountability, who were actually reared the first 10 years of their life without a real close connection to a mom, to a dad, to a family caregiver. They be in the war zone. And then they create this sort of energy that later on as adults. So
your connection's cutting a little in and out.
As I grew up in the clinical...
There we go, sorry.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now,
Now
sir?
I got you, yeah.
Excellent. I'm in El Paso, so forgive the, I'm like in the middle of the desert. So in working with patients over the last 30 years, my love is working with personality disorders, but unfortunately also the empaths, the partners, those who have to go through the hell and damnation of that psychological war. So I'm happy to be able to connect with you today and through Partners in Men's Health, which is currently where we're looking at helping men, if you will, through this difficult psychological war zone, work with you in any way to explain anything you need.
Well, so and so did I get wrong, or you haven't worked with sort of other sort of clientele and sort of these types of cases as well, or did I get that wrong?
Oh yeah, no. Currently, I have at least I can't even tell you how many. I have about 10 concierge patients right now, men who have gone through exactly what Johnny's going through right now, and having to help them as expert witnesses and be able to support them in their own trauma and their transformational coaching. I work with them with complex PTSD issues. These are executives and celebrities and people who actually come out and they ruled the world, but they go home and then they're suicidal, they're depressed, they're anxious. And so these are the men who are kind of connecting with me, and I'm trying to be a transformational coach and a clinician to be with them day in and day out to get them to the other side.
Well, so with your expertise and your psychology background, like when you watched Amber today, what was your takeaway breaking that down?
Well, it's not so difficult, okay? At the end of the day, clinical pathology is clinical pathology. All of us have it. I mean, Johnny's struggling with his own issues, of course. We all do. But when I work with, obviously, an Axis 2 or Cluster B or a person who's been diagnosed, let's say, with a personality disorder, I do know that they're extraordinarily capable of developing an image. I mean, my gosh, they've had to develop an image since childhood. They're in the psychological war zone. I don't think any kid wants to be evil or non-compassionate or not helpful. But as you look at testimony or listen to anything, how deep is it? How authentic is it? And how much is this strictly to make an image work? Because there's really not a whole lot there often when you come up in that war zone, that lack of attachment. That's what, unfortunately, personality disorders yield. So though, you're talking about testimony, I don't know, it could be any type of testimony, but at the end of the day, it's Machiavellian. It has to serve the ultimate purpose, right? Which is to keep the image, going. The image is there from day one that they need to put together so that the world doesn't get close. So when you get close, that's when they gotta kill you. That's all.
So is that what you think Amber's doing here? Do you feel like she is? Did you find her performative? Did you find this believable? What was your take as watching as an expert and psychologist?
Well, as an expert and psychologist, I can tell you, I do a lot of expert witnessing. So in this particular case, I'm not there. None of us are there. But I know the dynamics between the personality disorder as well as the empath or the codependent or the person who's the partner. And everything is in a bit of a self-serving sort of mode, that whatever you're doing, especially if you're so good in acting, is there to give the front, to be able to make sure nobody gets close, to everybody can convey the message that they need to convey. So I see the partners of them getting very honest and very deep and then getting very killed, and they buy into it. But in terms of the testimony, it's the same today as it will be tomorrow, as it will be later. It's a one-trick pony sort of thing.
You're not answering my question. You're being like an expert witness on the stand. I'm asking you, do you believe her?
Listen, I am saying totally, I don't believe what the Axis 2 says. Okay, at the end of the day, I don't see the reality in it. I don't see the authenticity in it. So I'm answering your question directly. I don't believe so at all.
You don't. So, because we watched two people share, you're an expert witness. Who gave the better performance, I guess? Who gave the better testimony, Johnny or Amber, in your sort of, expertise?
But again, it is performance, isn't it? Have you ever seen performance art like this? We got bureaucrats and narcissists in between Putin and between this trial on full display. So Johnny was deep. Johnny is authentic. Johnny's in pain. Johnny is really feeling, I think, that he thinks he did the best he could with what he had. No doubt he's triggered. No doubt he's, self-medicating for sure. But at the end of the day, the Axis 2, the partner, will be, black belt performer. I mean, there isn't that depth. There isn't that honesty. There isn't that feeling. It's an image. It's an image that has to be created and an image that has to be fostered. It's so difficult, Andy, so difficult to treat a personality disorder because there's no accountability. There's no empathy. Everything's in service of developing the image. So it shouldn't be difficult for your viewers or listeners to understand who's on first, who's right or wrong here. There's two clinical pathologies, and one can tell the truth, one can be accountable, one can be empathic, and the other one can't. So I'm sure your listeners and viewers can take it from there.
Okay, Alexandra, what do you think? Who's been more genuine in the testimony, Johnny or Amber?
Well, I will answer this question a little bit differently than Jamie. You know, what you feel when you hear them speaking will tell you which one is more accurate. And I don't know about you guys, but when I was listening to Johnny, I could feel his pain through my skin.
Yes.
When I was listening to her, I was detaching. I wasn't buying this, and I was disgusted. Not with the details, but with the rhythm. You know, she was pausing in the wrong moments of the story.
Let me say what you're saying is 100% correct. Let me just throw what you just said is perfect.
Yeah.
It's your nervous system. You felt safe when you heard Johnny speak. You felt regulated. You felt that there was real something there. And yet, your nervous system, you felt like hell when you're listening to her because you felt detachment. Well, that's exactly what we need to feel in our own bodies. I hear you loud and clear, and I think you said it expertly. This is a nervous system issue. When you don't have empathy or accountability, hell, you could say or do anything. And you as a listener, and you as a clinician, can be in your body. You felt safe when he was talking. You felt safe in his pain. You felt safe that he was being real. You didn't feel that when you listened to her. I thought that's a perfect analogy.
Yeah, I mean, she comes across very aggressive. I guess that's what I'm looking for, is some more analysis of what they're saying here. Yeah, Dr. Jamie, I appreciate it. Any other insight you want to sort of offer here? Yeah.
Yeah, Andy. Yeah, here's the thing. What your therapist just said was great there. Listen, there's two ways you live life. One is attraction, one is promotion. When you start promoting yourself, it's like getting buyer's remorse. It's like selling a car to somebody. When you attract, that's real. That's authentic. So what she's saying is Johnny was very real and authentic. We were attracted to his story. He pulled us in. We felt something was very sincere and deep. What we felt with Amber was the promotion. You felt buyer's remorse. You felt she was selling something.
Well, I never bought from her, though, in the first place.
There you go. Good deal.
I'm sure Johnny has buyer's remorse.
Well, he did. And, all my patients do as well, because that love bombing, you jump in there, you're in an illusionary world. You think this is God's gift to the rest of your life.
Yeah, but see, look, I'm going to put your feet to the fire, because she's literally trying to say that Johnny love bombed her. It can't go both ways. So who love bombed who?
But here's why. She's a black belt projector. The only thing a personality disorder can do is project out. Listen, they of course he did it. Anything. She probably says he's the narcissist. All my patients have their loved ones say, "You're the narcissist. You love bomb me." Well, that's a projection, Andy. It's actually anything an actress who says.
A lot of narcissists will call the other person the narcissist to call it. It's like Howard Stern when he just called out Johnny. Like, talk about the biggest narcissist in the world is Howard Stern. I like the guy. I used to listen to him, but my God, I can't stand him anymore. And for him to call Johnny a narcissist, I was like, dude, look in the mirror, you weirdo. Like, what the hell? Stay out of this one, you moron. But yeah, that's common for narcissists to do, right?
Yeah, if you're in a relationship with one, okay, anything they say, anytime they open their mouth is a projection. They can't handle getting accountable. They can't handle at all looking inside themselves and saying, I did something wrong. So they'll project out. So Johnny will be the narcissist. Johnny will be the liar. Johnny will be the love bomber. But you have to understand, if you really want to understand them well, realize that they're saying that about themselves. It's a projection. They don't know any other way to do it. So that's what I see. The men get crazy that I work with, right? They're like POWs. They don't know whether to, what to do because they're being called all these names. Well, literally, that's the person who literally is saying it and projecting it. You need to understand that when you're working with cluster Bs.
Well, I got a million people, and I want to get some of these survivors in, but I want to thank you for calling in Dr. Jamie, psychologist, and here's Partners in Men's Health on screen, which you can go to partnersinmenshealth.com to learn more about this organization and what they're doing. And Jamie, I'd love to get you back on. We should do a standalone where we can talk more about this next week if you're down.
Andy, thank you for giving this platform for all the men out there who desperately needs it.
Yeah,
Take care of yourself.
I appreciate it. Let's talk again soon, man.
You bet.
There he is, Dr. Jamie. Thank you for calling in. Nice to have other experts we're meeting and getting in. I appreciate it. I just see so many in the call that I want to make sure I plug and get some of them in, because as this title is, I want to see you guys react. Sorry, Lewis, I'll send you a link in a second. All right, I got a lot of you. I don't know if I can get to everybody. I'm apologizing in advance. Last night we stayed, Alexander, for over 4 hours to get through everything. I will try my best to get to everybody, but if we don't get to everybody, you know I love you. I apologize. I'm going to just do a random... All right, hold on here. Let's try this person. Okay. Boom. When I collect, if you're in the waiting room, just be ready. Make sure you turn off your YouTube audio and put on your Zoom audio, and then we will chat with you. And I will make sure that you are not naked. It's happened before.
4 hours.
Hello, are you there, caller? Hello? 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 Bueller? KH, are you there, KH? Uh-oh. You have 5 seconds. I have a backup in if this one doesn't answer. Hello? Hello, are you there, caller? Are you there, second caller?
Is it me?
Yes. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, I hear you.
Are you trying to...
Oh, now they're both talking. Hold on. All right. K. What is it? Leah? Like Leah? Is that you? It's not working. These people have to learn how to use Zoom. Hello. Yes. Caller.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes. Can I call you then? Make sure your Zoom name is the name I can call you. Can I call you the name there?
Yes.
Tess. Okay.
Yes.
Welcome. I see you, Tess. Welcome to the show. Just making sure before I put anybody on. Hello, Tess. How are you?
Hi. I'm okay. I kind of had some episodes today. I actually had to mute her. Hold on, baby. I actually had to mute her because, like the movie Gone Girl, I couldn't even watch that scene. But that scene is exactly what I pictured for her. And being a victim and hearing her use all these little fluffy, pretty words, I'm sorry, but how can you remember that kind of stuff? Even remotely close to how much graphics that she had. I'm sorry, I'm shaking right now. And
no, thank you for speaking up and saying it. I think more people need to speak up and say it, because I'm with you 100%. And I that's why I want to talk to people who've been there, who are brave enough to talk about it, because I'm with you. It just feels weird.
It's fake. It is so fake. Like, how can you make such a mockery of the victims like she's doing? I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Take your time. We got you.
So I have a series of attacks on me. I was a child, I was a teenager, I was an adult. And then I had to deal with domestic.
Careful with your words. Try to use the capitals and stuff.
I paused.
Yeah. No, the guy. Sorry, I know it's hard, but I apologize. Keep going.
I had to deal with that too, and at the end of that relationship, my phone number, my address, everything was put on Craigslist by my abuser. I kind of sort of had to hide because my life was being threatened, not only by him, but by other people thinking that it was cool. You know, hey, we have your address, we have your phone number, we're going to send you pictures. I mean, come on. And she's sitting on the stand making such a mockery of things that have actually happened to people. It's not okay.
I'd give you a hug if I could, Tess.
Thank you. I'm okay, baby. I'm okay. Sorry, guys. My daughter, she's following me around the house today. I'm trying to hide from her.
That's the positive, though, Tess. That's the positive right there.
Do what?
Go ahead, Alexandra. Yeah, give her a kiss, she's saying. Give her a kiss for us, yes.
Yeah. I love you. So, I've actually had to mute, and I couldn't even look at her. It's just, I feel so bad for Johnny. He went through such horrific things, and she's up there making a mockery of him and us as victims. You know, I agree with what Steph said last night or the other day when she said we're not survivors because you don't survive this. You live with this every day. I like to call it surviving daily. But even then, is that really what I'm doing? My husband the husband I have now is amazing. He's amazing, but I have triggers, and sometimes I can't even let him touch me.
Well, I'm so grateful you spoke up, and I'm just in awe because I think Amber needs to hear stuff like this, and that's what I wanted to do. And I'm so grateful for you standing up, saying this, because I don't think what she did was right. It's
definitely not right.
It's a mockery to women like you, and that's why I wanted to get the feedback from people like you, just so we can all understand what. Look, I need to know. Am I supposed to believe her? And I can't. I don't believe it. I've done the homework, right? We've done the research. We've listened to the tapes. I mean, this is not the same woman on those tapes.
Her words don't match her actions on those tapes.
They don't.
No, they don't.
At all. I know, baby.
Well, Tess, you have a beautiful child there. There's so much positivity there.
Thank you.
Give her the biggest hug and kiss. And it's gonna get better. There it is. Oh, yay! Mommy's good. What's up, little girl? What's your kid's name?
Her name is Taryn.
Taryn. Hello, Taryn. Beautiful. Mommy's good.
Say hi.
Hi, Taryn. What's up, Taryn?
Hello.
Woo! You're on YouTube. Your mom is awesome. Give your mom the biggest hug, Taryn. There it is.
Oh, thank you.
That's what it's about, guys.
Tell your mom that she's a hero.
She is a hero. Bravo. Tess, stay strong. We got your back. Thank you so much for calling in. Try to enjoy the week.
Me.
You just helped so many. And Amber, I hope you heard that. You're despicable.
Despicable,
Thank you so much,
disgraceful.
Tess.
She set us back years.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much, Tess.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
From all the things Amber was saying, I think the only thing that I bought, like I really bought, is the engagement, like the proposal. That was the only thing that I could hear some real emotions going on there. To me, that's the only emotional part that was, her story with the emotions, it makes sense. The rest, completely, it's like two different scripts.
Yeah, I guess this was part of the...
Objection form compound.
I'll allow it, but just for the trying to keep the record clear, 272 has already been entered into evidence without direct actions, and there wasn't any objection. So I would wish if I could have both sides to keep track of their evidence. It's not
my job.
It's really the party's responsibility to take care of the record, not mine.
My apologies on that one, Your Honor.
He came to New York to fight for the relationship, for me, to prove that he was sober and he was committed to changing.
Why?
I believed he was embarrassed and sorry. He said he was, and I believed him. So I took him back, or I got back with him on the condition that he would uphold his promise to do the treatment, to do the full detox, clean up, and never go back.
Oh, I almost touched my eye, but there's nothing wet there, so I can't.
I did my best to support him, and he thanked me. He thanked my mom, he thanked my dad, and told me, of course, I saved his life, that he wouldn't be able to make this change without me, and that this process was horrible and hard on him and us and me, but that he was so thankful that I was there for him.
Not a single
Objection.
tear the whole time, guys. And I'm not showing you the heavy stuff, but even in the heavy stuff, there's still not a single tear, right? Did you notice a single tear at any point, Kim?
I
did not.
Zero. And that
Not at
part
all.
there's something I have troubles with in that part.
Okay.
Because apart from all the lies, she's trying to portray herself as the hero and the savior. And she's, trying to make a point how she's protecting him, how she's doing all those things for him, how he's so thankful, and how she's, without her, his life will be in jeopardy and everything. I'm sorry, but even if that was what you were thinking, after all these awful things allegedly happened to you, you will not want to save the person that is doing all those things to you. It doesn't make sense to me. And she's making a lot of emphasis on how heroic she is. So I have troubles with this, because when you are on stand and you are trying to show, to tell the story, to say what was difficult for you, you will not be all the time trying to put the spotlight on you, the way to me she's trying to do. And I have a problem with this. I don't know, Kim, do you agree with me? Is it me that I'm just so biased that, because I was really trying to believe her, but I couldn't.
No, I don't think you are at all. And like one of the things that you said, and I completely agree with you, is that I feel like every time we talk about this detox, every time we talk about him getting clean, somehow it always ends up being about Amber and not about Johnny. And she always has to like claim it in some way that it's like, I did this, you can't do this without me, which is why Dr. Kipper was finally like, we got to get her out of here because she's sabotaging this whole thing.
Right.
And that's why, like, there was a point a couple weeks ago, I think, when we had a testimony, and I just said, those text messages really bothered me. And Johnny saying, to her parents, like, your daughter saved me, your daughter saved me. And to me, I was like, that just sounds like that's been a dialogue that he's like been told that like he needed that. Because at the end of the day, there was one person who was responsible for someone's sobriety, and it's that one person. Good support system helps, but it's that one person. You're the one that's got to do it. Wake up every day and do it. So that rubbed me the wrong way right away. So.
Was it today or yesterday when she did the whole, like, nobody told me not to come to the detox? It's all becoming a blur to me. I wish someone had told me not to come to the detox on the island.
I think it was today.
It was today.
There was a moment where she literally was like trying to like get ahead and knock that fire out of like, I don't know why I was even there in the first place. No one told me. Like, oh my God, girl.
She was also like, I've been around like addiction my whole life, but I didn't know it was going to be that bad. I'm like, girl, what?
Yeah. It's hard because she talked for like 8 hours, it felt like. And I'm sorry, I wish I could like do the supercut edit to expose it all, but I can't, I'll kill myself, guys. But
I'm sorry,
much.
I feel like you can take a 5-minute sliver of time and Google, detoxing and see what comes up. It doesn't take you that long to figure out that it's not a good time, guys. It's not fun.
Let's play this one too, because this was very telling. Hold on, wait, where's the
house and proposed in front of our families.
So the engagement.
Big, you know, surprise. He surprised me, got down on one knee, and you know, I cried and hugged my mother and hugged his mother, and
she's so happy
he
suddenly.
gave me this enormous diamond ring.
Oh.
And
enormous.
It was a nice time.
That's a nice
But just
time.
remember,
But
she
wait.
We
wanted
had an
nothing.
engagement party,
Wait.
and we decided that when we did get married, we'd have a small wedding, you know, something intimate. We wanted to have a bigger engagement party than a wedding, you know, and kind of get our guests in, our family, our friends, and have a big event of it, as opposed to making the wedding something that was big. And a bunch of people, a lot of friends, business acquaintances, a lot of family. I had all of my family friends and my childhood friends come out for it, and I even invited my therapist. It was
What? Alexandra,
they said
do you
what?
get
That's
invited
what they
to a
said
lot of your
what moment?
Yeah, well, thank you. They said what? She invited her therapist to the engagement party? Alexandra, as a therapist, do you get invited to a lot of your clients' weddings and engagement parties?
Well, only once.
Oh, you had to has. Did you go?
By a borderline patient, which I kindly rejected. I said, I'm very honored, but we need to keep our relation professional. And, you know, like, I want to share your happiness, definitely, but let's share it here in the therapy room. So at least in the type of therapy I work with, and in Poland, since your patient outside the sessions and engaging and becoming friends during therapy, no, it's not ethical. At least here in Poland.
No, I would agree with that as well. I have had the same therapist for 3 years now, and I mean, she's been through a lot with me. And we do care very much about each other as people. I think it's impossible not to after you talk to someone that much about so much for that long. But I mean, I would never dream of inviting her to something like that unless we had more transitioned into, I guess, more like not being a client, maybe being a life coach type thing. Like, but it would not be therapy. No way.
And look, we got Olivia and Brian here, live from their couch, straight on the internet. Welcome, you guys.
Hey.
Hi, Andy, Kim, and Lewis. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you.
I wanted to join the call, and then my husband came home from work, and he is definitely, we're both victims of DV and have experienced that in separate relationships prior to getting married. And he walked in and was listening to the stream and started getting emotional. And so I was like, I wanted to join in and just comment on Amber, but then I also wanted to give another man the opportunity, if he wanted it, to be able to share what this kind of thing does to men who experience this kind of abuse.
Yeah, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
I haven't really been outspoken about it, so I don't really. So a few years ago, I was in a pretty rough relationship, and kind of like what the last person said, I was isolated. I was told to be away from my family, to spend time with only her and to be only with her, and that friends and family meant really nothing. I even got to the point where we were going to move down to Texas. I would enlist in the Air Force, and It basically like so things like that where it's just being isolated and being where your opinion doesn't matter, where, well, who gives a fuck what you think, you know, like who cares, and then like being told like, oh, you're not as good as my ex-boyfriend because he could do this and everything, and being compared to, or even just basically being straight up told, oh, well, maybe you'll feel better if you do this. I was manipulated. I was deceived. I was destroyed. It took a while to realize where I was. I attempted suicide a couple times. Just to kind of be like, well, no one cares. I mean, I'm by myself. Who cares? And it takes time. I can't really say that I'm healed because I know that there are things that trigger. And she and I we obviously broke up, and I met my amazing wife now, and it's just hard from coming from all that and then not really realizing what life really is. It just, when you get out of it, it's like, well, what do I do? Well, what's life? And so I went into drinking, and just to kind of numb everything, I went to drinking. I started to do stupid things and just try and figure out, like, okay, is this normal? Is it normal to get down into this, you know, like, it took several years to finally realize that, yes, I was abused and that life can throw us a curveball. I mean, and then I found out when I was with her, that she had an abortion, and that one actually near did it for me, where it's just hard. I'm sorry if I don't make any sense.
No, dude, you're doing amazing.
You're making perfect sense.
Brian,
you're doing so good.
I don't know what else to really say.
It's really frustrating when, I mean, being a victim of any kind of abuse, and then I feel so privileged that I have a husband who understands me and the pain that I've gone through, and it ends up being a really kind of weird support system because we both are broken in kind of the same ways, and we know how to help each other. And then we sit here, at least for me, I've been able to watch this whole trial, and then I give him updates every day. And yesterday and today, watching her, I mean, Kim, you said it so good yesterday in the stream. I wanted to believe her. Like, I wanted so badly to not expect that someone would lie like that. And just watching it was so shocking and so disgusting. And, you know, I'm a little bit further removed from my abuse, and so it's a little easier to talk about. But I mean, geez, I had to turn off the TV a few times. I mean, it was so hard to watch just the last couple days, and then, you know, to see how that then makes it so that my husband, as a male victim, can't be believed or isn't given a voice. I mean, it's disgusting. And Dr. Hughes yesterday, I mean, I could go on about how upset I was. I mean, I told Brian he wasn't allowed to watch that.
No, you know what? No one needs to watch that. No one needs that in their life. No one.
Yeah. So, I mean, this kind of crap is just, it's so frustrating to see. It's so frustrating to see the fake and to see so much hurt. And the thing that really got me today was how much eye contact she was making with the jury, that just like, it felt so disingenuous. It felt so disgusting. And I was like, I mean, if I was on that jury, there's no way on earth I'd believe her, because she cares way too much about what we think as the jury. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, she cares way too much about what the jury thinks. She's not telling the truth. If she was, then she wouldn't care who was in the room. She wouldn't care what people's reaction was. She would just tell the truth. And I mean, Johnny, and every time the camera was on Johnny, I was like, that's how I look when I have to listen to, my abuser, or even when I'm listening sometimes to Brian and talking about his stuff. Like, making eye contact is hard for either one of us when we're talking about that kind of stuff. And I totally get Johnny just drawing or whatever he was doing to kind of just separate himself from it. It's
Brian.
I believe Johnny. Johnny's innocent, and I don't believe Amber at all.
Brian, could I speak to Brian real quick?
Yeah, I was gonna, but you go for it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just want to thank you, man. I look up to you. You're an inspiration to guys and gals. As people in the comments were saying that men need to speak up as well. So chin up, man, and stuff. And I know it's easier said than done. Get yourself a bag, man, and punch it when you're frustrated and stuff. And none of the stuff that happened to you is your fault at all, man. I could tell right now you're a good-looking guy. Looks like you have a great partner next to you right there. No sus gang, but I can tell you're good looking. But chin up, man, and I look up to you, dude. I look up to you. Maybe I should have said this a little bit before, but there's been times when when I was younger and I was dating and stuff, I've been hit too by women. Like, the way I dealt with it though was a little different. Like, I'd go out on a date and one little like misunderstanding, get slapped or hit. I'm like, what the hell? So I defuse the situation, because you can't like get into a full-on fight, and then make up a little bit, make sure everything's good until the date is over, and then I get the number when I get home and toss it. That's what I would do. So it's happened to me, or they've tried to happen to me. That's the best of what I could share. So yeah, it does happen both ways. And man, women hit hard, man. Jesus.
Well, I was just gonna say, Brian, again, bravo, dude. That takes balls, man. What you do, and to come forward like that and be brave like that. I hope you know that inspires people. And the most amazing thing is when I'm listening to you, it breaks me. But by sharing a story like that and doing it as publicly as you just did, I don't know if anybody else in the chat, but I believe you. And seeing you tell that story only reiterates why I don't believe Amber, because you just gave such a genuine reaction with your emotions, and I felt sorry, and I wanted to give you a hug, and I hated that someone did that to you. I didn't feel that once with Amber, and I really was trying to like hear it and listen out. And so I applaud you for being brave enough to share. We got your back, man, and don't Lewis is right on. Amazing. I love you both. You guys are adorable. Bravo to you both, being such an amazing couple. And thank you for sharing and letting us see that, so we could get more examples to sort of call out Amber and this bullshit that she's putting on as a performance. Because for folks like you guys who've really been through the ringer, it's not right. It's not okay what she's doing. Yeah. And karma is going to hit her hard. And I don't think she realizes what she's doing here. It's not going to go the way she thinks, no matter how much she pays some crappy PR company. She can get a few headlines this week, but people are not going to hire her. People are not going to be around her. She is a terrible person.
Great point.
We need to keep being loud this week to make sure people don't forget the truth while they're on break.
Correct. And stories like that, Sharon, Brian, bravo, sir. I applaud you. And I know the chat was sending you so much love and support. We believe you. You're awesome. You got this. You get back up, as we say here on the channel. We keep going. We don't let them keep us down. And I'm so glad you have a support system next to you who is clearly in love and supporting you and got you. So how about a round of applause and so many hearts for this amazing couple goals right there. You guys rock. Any final word you guys want to add in?
You know what? Just make sure to keep spreading love. Make sure to keep telling the truth. Don't fear the truth, like Johnny says, and you know, keep spreading love and be kind.
Yeah.
Well said. Beautiful to meet you both. Brian, you want to say something?
Don't be afraid to come out. It's hard. Like I said, I don't talk about it very often. So don't be afraid to come out and talk about it. It's very relieving when actually talking about it and actually being open and honest about it. Because there's like a weight there that you didn't know you had until you talk about it and go, this is how it is. It's hard to talk. It's even if it comes out in jumbles of words or gibberish or anything, just like Johnny said, you know, just speak out, you know, don't be afraid. If it's someone you love, even talk about it, just speak out. That's
as he said.
When there's an injustice, whether it's against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down. Don't sit down on them, because they need you.
Well said, sir. Bravo. I love you guys. Thank you so much for that empowering. Wow, I'm so glad we took calls because it was such a depressing day. But you guys are lifting us all up. I hope you know that by sharing your stories and standing up with us together. So thank you so much, Brian and Olivia. Couple goals for real, for life. Enjoy your evening, and please come back and call in again and keep us posted.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Are awesome. Love you guys. Oh, look at oh my God. I'm just
so cute.
They're so cute. Well, that was an amazing stream. In fact, we talked to so many other survivors. They all called in, but it was over 4.5 hours long. I had to trim this show. So if you're watching it and you didn't see the whole show, become a member today. Hit that join button. Hit a level you want. You'll be supporting the channel. We had 40 members today. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much. It was an incredible show with so many people who spoke honestly. And if you want to see it, just go catch the replay. It's in the members only playlist on my channel page where I put all the unedited replays, but I do trim these episodes to try and keep them a little tighter. So thanks to all you guys who watched. We'll be back tomorrow, Friday, a little earlier in the afternoon, and we're here every weekday bringing you the news and pop culture justice here on Popcorn Planet. Thank you guys so much for watching. Justice for Johnny. We don't believe you, Amber, and I appreciate all you guys who supported tonight and sent over your chats. I'll try and get through all your chats tomorrow, but I'm getting inundated. That's a good problem to have, but I feel guilty, but thank you for supporting. I hope you got your comments in there. I saved some of them. You guys are all amazing. I love you all. Get some sleep. Get some rest. Let's stay positive. And I'm standing Camille Vasquez all day long. She's going to get this for us. Don't forget it. Thank you guys for watching, everybody. Love you all. See you soon. This is going to head on over to Nerd Report. Don't go anywhere. Here it comes. Here it comes.